Hello, this is James St. James, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of efficiency. Join me on my journey as I integrate ancient and modern medicines to reverse engineer intuitive healing so that you can re-engineer your body and mind to live vibrantly once again. When it comes to healing, efficiency is of utmost importance. What I mean by healing is when you go through the healing process and you're regenerating your body tissues and your mind into the way that you want it. And to move through the healing process, for me, I want to be able to fix the problems in my body as quickly as possible so I can spend hopefully as many days of my life living well versus living with whatever health issues or whatever things were holding me back in the past. And that would be my wish for you, and is why I want to talk about how to get the results that you want fast and easily. And through this method, you can regenerate every single thing about yourself so that you don't have to keep living the way you do. And now you have the ability to not only heal yourself, but I've also made it so that the healing process can be tailored to the speed that you wish to move. Now, the faster you go, the more uncomfortable the healing process is going to be. And so everybody is going to have their own pace in terms of like what they can handle, in terms of, psychologically, can you handle that level of discomfort? Or even like through your lifestyle, maybe you're super busy with work, you have kids, and so you can only dedicate this much time throughout the week to actually heal yourself. Now, so you're going to have a different pace, but at the same time, with whatever energy you have, with whatever time that you have, you want to be able to get the most out of that time and be able to create the changes in your body, in your mind, that are going to set you free and put you in a walk of life where you just feel full, feel vibrant, and feel like everything inside just is functioning really well. Which maybe for some of you, like you feel really healthy already, and at this point, it'd be just to keep that level of health. Others of you, maybe you're diagnosed with this or that, you had this health issue going on and it hasn't gone away. You're in the shoes where it's like, all right, we need to dedicate some time to this, take some time aside, and be able to make these changes as quick as possible. And then when you heal with efficiency, that's the goal. Keep in mind that this video is meant to be we're just talking about the theory of efficiency behind the healing model, behind healing strategies, and behind effectively creating those changes in the body and understanding how the body works, which is what this whole channel is dedicated to. So you're not going to get a whole lot about that whole process just from one video, but in this video, what I hope to cover is just 3 basic steps that you can use to make everything else in this channel be able to work quicker and more effectively with the least amount of resistance or challenge. I believe that we only have so many days on this planet to live, say X amount of days. And in those days, if you are, say, healthy when you are young, and then later you develop some health issues, then people tend to continually live with those health issues until sometimes the rest of their lives, or even just many, many, many years, which is going to have such a huge negative impact in just everything that we do, from our work to our relationships to even the times we try to enjoy ourselves, such as our vacations. Now, in order to get the full richness, the joy and the excitement and the wonder that we had when we were little kids back into our lives, we need to take action fast and soon so that we can get those emotions back, and for the rest, whatever days are remaining in our life, that we can enjoy it to our fullest. And to do that, we need to be able to make the changes fast and soon. And so that's why I'm going to talk about in this episode why that's important, not just on this grand scale level of, I want a higher quality life, but we're going to go more in detail to exactly the reasons why efficiency is key. And not only that, but why efficiency in the healing process is one of the core components, and how the healing process is tailored to be able to make changes as fast as you possibly can. And when you have a model that allows you to make those changes as quick as you can, it's only limited by your own intention. In healing, there's always a faster method. There's always a more effective strategy. It really just comes down to your understanding of your tool set and how well you're able to place things in the right strategy at the right time with the right patterns. And at the end of the day, you can always just add a little bit more force to things to make it change faster as well. So change is unlimited. Well, there is a limit to some degree. It has to do with tissue regeneration, but as fast as your body can regenerate on a cellular level is as fast as one can heal. Now, with that being said, it's not necessarily how fast we are all going to heal, because it takes a lot of tact and strategy to be able to push our body to that speed. Now, to heal with utmost efficiency, we're going to need a more efficient model by which we can heal at greater speeds by making changes faster. And then we're also going to need strategies that allow us to continually push the rate of change. In the human body, for the healing process, the rate by which we can heal or change the tissues or be able to make those corrections with our mind, it's going to be dependent only on two things. One is cellular regeneration, the other is fascial regeneration. Fascial regeneration is a lot slower typically than the tissue or the cellular regeneration, which is usually on the order of weeks instead of days. But still, there's always so many things to work on, so many things to do, so one can always be pushing the limits of their own physiology to then make their healing go quicker and to move through the healing process more efficiently. Now let's dive into how we can use efficiency in the healing process to make it go as quickly and as comfortably as possible. Now just keep in mind that the healing process is usually never comfortable. If you think about surgery or chiropractic, or even just maybe you're sick and throwing up, these are all ways that your body heals, but it's very seldomly comfortable unless you're getting a massage or something like that. So the faster that we heal, the less comfortable it will be, and this is where people can set their own mental limit, like, okay, I want to heal this fast because otherwise my mind is just going to feel like I'm going crazy. And totally understandable. Some people are going to be racing for the end goal. It's like, I have these health issues, I'm really serious about doing this, let me just fix the problems. Other people are going to be, okay, let's slow it down. This is a really important point because every person needs to know their own pace, because it is a really uncomfortable process, admittedly, and there's not really any way around to regenerate your tissues in a comfortable way. So ultimately, we have to jump into it. And when we jump into it, for me, it's to move through it as quickly and with the least amount of extra work as possible is going to be the best solution. In order to create those quick changes and move through the process strategically and efficiently, we're going to have to understand exactly how the body works. And we have another video in this series just about that. So if you haven't seen that already, I recommend checking that one out next, or hopefully even before this video. Then once you understand how the body works, at least in a general level, now you can start applying your strategies into your healing process so that you can regenerate your body and your mind as fast as possible. A lot of people believe that healing is this thing for spiritual gurus, that it's this thing that they're still waiting Jesus to come to earth to do. But really, human beings are always healing. And if we just understand that our body is continually replacing itself, and cells are continually being regenerated. We just have to allow it to do that, and we need to remove the obstacles that are in its way. For me, I'm a bit more on the practical side, and I say, well, if this body is just a biological machine, then any machine should be able to be fixed. And a lot of people will get confused because they look at the body as kind of a mystery. But if we understand how the body works and we can reverse engineer it, then we can understand exactly the most efficient ways to fix it. And instead of just living with our health problems or living with or even identifying with the medical conditions that we might have, then we can just say, well, I have this condition, it means that something's broken. And if something's broken, well, then I can fix it. Then all you need is just a strategy. Without a strategy, then you feel like you're stuck and you feel frustrated and you feel maybe even hopeless. But if you have an effective strategy and you understand clearly the patterns by which the human body works, not just from a physiological point of view or not just from a pattern recognition point of view, which is common in other medical models, but from a point of view just that's from the way that the human body was constructed. If you understand that, then the power can become in your hands, because through the knowledge that you understand the body, then you can take the effective actions that are the key points to be able to change your own physiology, your own biomechanics, the way the electricity moves through your body, the way that emotions are represented, the way that your organs function, so that you can eventually rebuild every single part of your body and every part of your mind. To give you a general overview of what I mean by moving efficiently through the healing process, let me give you 3 quick, easy steps that we can take. The first way in which we can make the healing process more efficient is simplicity. By simplification, what I mean is, if we were to take the example of sending an email, and in 1995, I remember my mother sitting on one of those old desktop computers, like a Pentium or something like that, and she was using Windows 95, and it would take her about 5 minutes to send one short email. In contrast to today, if you give a little kid an iPhone, they can probably send an email in less than 30 seconds. So we can take something that was 10 times as much time and effort, and now we can do it in 30 seconds. For that same reason, we want to make the healing process as efficient and simple as possible. To exemplify the way that simplicity works is that in order for a solution to be simple, I believe that it should be easily accessible and it should be easy to use. Now, for example, a lot of medical technology is not very easily accessible. It is usually very expensive, and that's why we need these hospitals and these doctors' offices with that specialized equipment to be able to create those changes. However, that doesn't make it easily accessible for the average person maybe to do at home in their spare time. And so for the healing process, I wanted to make sure that it was something that anybody in even a third world country living in poverty would be able to do and have access to. And not only that, they would understand very easily how to use it. And for when they are able to use it easily and they're able to understand how to apply the strategies and they're able to use just the things in their house, now the process of healing is more just accessible to everybody. Because it makes it so simple, now people can move through it more efficiently. Because if it was something like you needed a medical equipment for, you would have to schedule appointments with your doctor, talk about insurance co-payments, and it would make the process more of a nightmare. And so if you could just do it after work, just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just using things around your house, well, now you can start making progress throughout the week, whereas otherwise you wouldn't be able to. And that, what I believe, makes the healing model more efficient. The second way of optimizing efficiency in healing is to make it impactful. Just keep in mind, when it comes to healing, there's always a bigger tool. And when you use a bigger tool, it's going to come with more responsibility, because with great power comes great responsibility. And so as we use bigger tools, you're moving into more and more advanced levels. And that's why I'm going to be separating the series on the methodologies for healing into various levels with basic, medium, and advanced. And when you are able to get into the more advanced levels through your experience and the health of your body, having a better structural integrity, then you can be able to apply more force and be able to change things more quickly, be able to restructure tissues more quickly, and be able to regenerate your body more quickly. And so through making things impactful, we can accelerate the healing process. In contrast, a lot of people will focus on things like Reiki or meditation, breathing exercises, acupuncture. And these things are all very valuable things. Anything that makes you feel good, to me, is a good thing. However, if it's applied at the wrong stage in your development, then it could be wasted time and it could be holding you back from making progress faster. For most people, they carry a lot of damage in their body. When you look at someone, you see maybe an Instagram model, but when I look at someone, even if they're an Instagram model, I see thousands of points of critical tissue damage in their organs, in their shoulders, through their neck, just everywhere. And the difference is just that I understand how the body works, and so I can see the points that are damaged. Now, if that's the case for someone that we idealize in terms of like, this is a healthy human being, then you can imagine for the average person, I can see there's lots of little points of damage. And for those little points of damage, over the years, what happens is they tend to turn into scar tissue and become calcified, or even just they develop patterns in which they create excessive tension that then affects other parts of the human body, because if it creates tension in one place, for every action there must be an equal and opposite reaction. It creates tension in other places throughout the body. These points of tension, they then add up, and what happens is they create like a network or like a spider web of tension that sometimes can run through the organs and cause disruptions in their functionality. And as this happens, the body is, what we would say, is enduring more stress. And that stress literally is the tension within our extracellular matrix from the damage and the disruptions for that. And if you want to find more information about stress, just real quick, we have a link in the description for that video as well. But to move on, it's that tension that we need to solve. And if we use breathing techniques, when we have literally probably like pounds or kilograms of force and tension going through our organs, that's not going to fix pounds of force. If you have, say, like one muscle in your arm locked up, and you think, well, how many pounds of force, or depending on what country you're in, kilograms of force, can one muscle produce? And you contract your muscles, and it's like, okay, well, my muscles are pretty strong, I can lift a lot of weight. Well, if that muscle is fully tensed and you figure out this is how much weight it can lift, well, that means that every second throughout the day, it's pulling with that much tension across your body. And then it propagates to the next point, because again, like everything has to be in balance. So if it pulls on one side of your body, then it must also have to pull on the other side of your body in the same way, or at the same force. So with that being said, if you have all this tension in your body, I mean literal like mechanical force tension, the first step would be to solve that tension. And in order to do that, you need to disrupt the tissues and be able to extend the extracellular matrix back into its elastic form. When it's in its rigid form, meaning that the tissue has undergone certain structural damage, meaning when the extracellular matrix normally in its elastic form is like when we're young, is like a spider web, and you can touch the spider web and it just and it's like jello, it snaps back into place. But over time, as we damage the extracellular matrix from various stresses, whether it be chemical stresses, emotional stresses, or physical damage to the body through like injury, then over time the tension is going to be greater, and then as the tension gets greater, the forces are going to get greater. As the forces get greater, it locks itself into place, it calcifies and turns into scar tissue over time. So the first step for most people is to break apart that scar tissue, because until that scar tissue is broken apart, it's going to be creating that tension, and it's going to be pulling with many pounds or kilograms of force all throughout your body. And there's nothing that a breathing exercise or nothing that acupuncture can do until that's solved. I like every healing modality, like everything that you've heard of, I'm cool with it. If it makes you feel good, great. But you have to use it at the right stage and at the right step. In the beginning, it's more strategic to be able to use healing modalities that create structural reconstruction, such as physical therapy, or even a chiropractic or a deep tissue massage. Those kind of things in the beginning are going to be the most useful for most people's circumstances. This is why applying strategies or methodologies or techniques that are impactful will create more efficiency in the healing process. This leads us to the third way by which we can optimize the efficiency of the healing process, which is to make it timely. What does it mean to be timely? It means to be able to do the right techniques or to apply the right part of your strategy at the right time. As I emphasized before, if we do the wrong thing, or maybe a light thing, like such as acupuncture, and we do it in the beginning of our healing strategy when we have so many major problems going on, then it's not going to be as useful, one, and then two, it's not going to set up your body in such a way to where it can get to the stage where maybe the acupuncture or the breathing techniques are going to be needed. When creating an effective healing strategy, you really have to think of it like a video game or a chess game. In that game, you might have a really powerful piece. Maybe you have a rook or a queen, or in that game you have a really big weapon. But it doesn't mean that you should start using it right away and start moving that piece across the chessboard just randomly. To create a better strategy, you need to move the right piece to the right place at the right time. Otherwise, you're going to lose the game. And in the same way, I don't want you to lose the healing game, or I don't want you to even be held back and not making progress in your healing journey. To do that, you need to be thinking about, okay, so this is where my body's at, and these are the pieces on the chessboard. Which one should I move first? Only through identifying which one first can you know the exact timing by which to apply each healing modality. Now, there's no right or wrong way to heal. There's no right or wrong healing therapy. It could be medical, it could be, psychological, it could be therapeutic, it could be through herbology. Whatever heals you is whatever heals you. So we don't need to judge what it is, and for every single person, you're going to need a variety of various elements in your strategy. The important thing is that you just understand, okay, here's my tools, and then be able to ask your intuition. It's like, okay, what do I need right now? What is going to create that most effective change right now? And that's going to come down to your understanding of how the body works in the healing process, so that you can understand how to trace where the issue is, how to identify it or move into exactly what it is and define it, and then be able to create an effective tool at an effective time to be able to resolve it. Through this process, you will be able to make the changes faster, because now you have the right tool, and maybe even in the right strategy, but it's also critically important to use it at the right time. And the reason why I see a lot of people who are really avid about taking care of their health but not making progress is because they're trying these things, usually lighter things that don't have impactfulness, in the beginning of their healing process. And they might have something really critical happen, like, oh, they have damage to their hip, and that damage to their hip is causing excessive scar tissue in the bottom, which is then pulling tension through their abdomen and disrupting their small intestine function, which is then leading to digestive disorders and then diseases or like mental disorders because of the disrupted organ. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to consume more antioxidants and vegetables and fruit and to fix it. And it's like, yes, it's gonna reduce the burden on the small intestine, but what you've done is you just stopped the rate of damage to the cellular function or the physiological function of the organ. But at the same time, there's still many pounds of force kind of ripping it apart slowly, causing the malfunction. So what are you doing to fix that? Because no matter how many band-aids you put on something, or like say if it were a broken leg, you can only put on so many band-aids, but at the end of the day, the bone needs to be put back together. And a lot of people don't realize how important the overall mechanics of the human body are, especially in the beginning stages of the healing process. During the later stages, it's more necessary to go to more refined things, as you don't need to move these big, forceful things, and you don't want to apply like a big. My dad would always say, if at first you don't succeed, you get a bigger gun. And so you wouldn't need to get out a bigger gun to solve these more intricate things. And if you're solving intricate things in the beginning, it just means that you don't understand timing well, because you first want to solve the bigger issues and get those, it's not the bigger issues. Now, let me differentiate this actually, because this is a really important point. The bigger issue to you might be, oh, I have a heart issue, or I have type 2 diabetes, or I might have anxiety or depression. Now these are issues that are really big in the way that it affects your life. But in the healing process, to reverse the damage that was done to your body doesn't have an exact correlation with the symptoms that show up. So it would be foolish to think that, oh, I can just solve my heart condition first thing because that's the biggest issue. But that's not how the body works. The body works by, it develops stress and then it places that stress in your body, and stress being the mechanical load due to the broken fascia or the broken extracellular matrix areas, causing the tension from various areas that can run through organs and disrupt electrical channels, leading to impairments in your physiological capabilities and also your mental capabilities. Because of this, the stress that you developed through your lifetime, to reverse that damage, you pretty much need to go into the opposite direction. So when we talk about the biggest issue, first, it's not the biggest issue that you're dealing with. It's the points on your body that have accumulated the most damage. So think of it more from an engineering point of view. Say in a building, the building might have a beam that is really important, but it only has a light amount of damage on it, versus another beam on the building is not as important as the central beam, but it is critically damaged and has had many things happen to it. Well, we should go and fix, as a healer, the one with the most damage first. And that's what I mean in terms of, prioritizing the right thing at the right time, which is the essential, fundamental understanding behind timeliness. Once you understand timeliness and you can apply the right strategies in the right way at the right time, you'll be able to make drastically larger improvements in your health and create those changes that are going to shape and redefine your structural integrity, your physiology, and the way you think and the way you act in society. We all want to move through life as vibrant and as healthy as possible. And the faster that we can make the changes in our body to shape ourselves, to shape our body, to shape our mind into that person that can move through life and achieve all the things that you want to do, the more that we are going to be able to enjoy our experience here on Earth and the time that we have. So this is why efficiency is so important, and to be using a model that optimizes efficiency and the rate by which you can correct that damage in your body so that you can return that functionality into yourself is of critical importance for us to be able to live a good life. So I hope you can use these 3 tips so that you can optimize your healing strategy to be as quick and ideally as comfortable and painless as possible, so that you can continue enjoying the life that you want to live. I hope you found this video useful. If you could think of someone who might benefit from this information, then please feel free to share this video or series with them. Also, please feel free to check out the other videos in this channel, as we're producing almost a video a week with the intention of bringing you tools to help you transform your mind so that you can improve your mental and physical performance. If you would like to support our mission to provide mental wellness to the world, then please consider making a tax-deductible donation to the Nootripure Foundation, which is a link in the description. And I look forward to helping you create a better you.